capture most of it.
I'll record too, just so that we get it all.
All right, cool. All right,
Okay.
let's get started.
Slay. Sorry for saying slay. I'm not a millennial, I promise. Okay. Oops, sorry. Can you guys see the screen that says hello? Verbal yeses. Can I get a verbal yes?
Yes.
Awesome,
Yep.
thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we can.
Slay. Slay. Okay. Sorry for saying slay. Okay. Okay. Hi. Hello. My name is Dallas. I graduated from Ringling last year in May. And today I'm gonna talk to you guys about something that I feel like is really important and was really important in my whole journey, and something I think that students don't get a lot of information on, but that's like the non-portfolio side of landing a job in animation. So that's to say, like, how do you do the resumes? How do you do the cover letters? How do you network? How do you do interviews? Like all that shit. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna talk about. So before we talk about that, I want to talk to you guys about me just a little bit, just a smidge. So there's one thing that you should know about me, is that I love movies. Like so much. Like I could talk about movies literally all day, every day. If anybody wants to do that, hit me up because I got you. But yeah, so I never really thought of it as like an actual job. It was kind of just like a hobby thing. I was like, oh, I like watching movies or whatever. But when I was in high school, I like was fully prepared to go to school for like biology or like computer science or like whatever, something nerdy like that. And then I accidentally enrolled in an art class that I had no idea was an art class because it had a really stupid name that was not descriptive at all. So I didn't know what it was. But I enrolled in that, and then suddenly I was expected to like do art all the time and like draw things and do all this like computer digital art. And I was like, I have no fucking clue what I'm sorry if I curse. Am I allowed to do that? Sorry. Is that bad?
Go right ahead.
Okay,
I think we're
okay.
all adults here.
I'm sorry.
Right, unless there's a 12-year-old in the audience.
I'm so
Speak,
sorry.
speak now or forever hold your peace.
All right. So yeah. So I had no, I forgot. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. Anyway, yes. This is a movie that I watched in high school that sort of like that when I saw this movie, which I hope you guys can see my screen. When I saw this movie, I was like, oh, this is like something I could do forever. This movie just like blew me away. I love this movie to death. Anyway, so I made the decision. I was doing art and I wanted to do tech stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let me just do animation because that has both of those things. But I had no idea how to draw, right? So I spent all of high school like filling up like a million sketchbooks a day for like the last 2 years of high school because I had not drawn at all. I didn't know a thing about art. So I was like literally filled up like 50, 60 sketchbooks in the course of like a year and a half. It was crazy. It was insane. But yeah, so anyway, got into Ringling. Then I went to Ringling. That was super exciting and it was really cool, except I started college in 2019. So obviously March 2020 happened. And then I got this awesome email from the president. And he was like, we're gonna kick everyone off the campus and you have to do this from home. So that was really exciting, but that was my freshman year. So then I spent like all of sophomore year being really isolated and super happy and healthy, as we all were during COVID. And yeah, but then I had a lot of time to like focus on CG stuff and learn that, and that was really exciting. So yeah, and then that summer I earned a spot in Pixar's pup internship class. So it was super fun. Got to like dip my toes into the industry and do that. It was remote, which was kind of unfortunate, but it was still pretty cool. Met some awesome people, did some cool things. Really cool. Can you see my screen? I'm sorry. I'm like losing my mind. I feel like
Yes.
Yes, we can see
okay,
your screen.
good.
Yes.
I'm so
Don't worry.
sorry.
Don't worry.
Oh my god. Okay.
You're doing great.
Cool. So yeah, so did all that, super awesome. And then like I came back to junior year and I was like, huh, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions about the animation industry now. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just drop out of the animation degree. So that's what I did. Yeah. So I came back for junior year and I said, you know what? Let me do some other stuff. So I did that. My degree was very character animation focused, and I was like, I'm a lighting artist. I do not want to do this shit. I did not want to animate characters. Like, get me out. So I left. And yeah, I spent a lot of time that year just like really honing in on the skill of lighting, and then also just like doing a bunch of shit on campus. Like I was heavily involved on campus, but we'll get into that. But yeah, so then coming up on the summer after my junior year, and I was interviewing for a really awesome company. It was super cool, and I was really excited. And I was like, oh my God, this could be awesome. And then they were like, just kidding, we don't want you. And I was like, that's awesome. But that's totally normal and totally part of the process. Like getting rejected from jobs is a part of getting jobs. Like that's what happens. And I think it's an important part of your journey is like where you don't go is as important as where you do go. So yeah. And even so, I ended up meeting this really cool guy who works at Disney and ended up teaching me matte painting stuff anyway, because that was the internship I was applying for. So that was super cool. And I still got to learn stuff from Disney artists. So it was awesome. So then becomes my senior year. I'm no longer in animation. I'm basically just doing a whole bunch of shit on campus. I was in like student government, worked on the diversity center, worked for orientation, wasn't it like a tour guide? Like I did all the shit, all the things, I did the things. So that was super cool. And I feel like these were like the most important parts of my journey at Ringling, and like the things that really helped me just like solidify who I am as like a worker and a person on a team, and like all these things, right? Because I was really, really involved. So like when you do these things, these like SIGGRAPH and WIA things, like these are really awesome parts of your journey, and they're super important, if not more important than the quality of your art. In my opinion, more important. But anyway, cool. So senior year, I'm applying to portfolio reviews and all these things because I'm like, oh shit, it's January. I graduate in May. I gotta get a job. So I'm like doing that, end up getting a really cool portfolio review, and then I take my little car and I drive all the way across the country, and I end up here at LAIKA. You guys like my animation? It's really good. Anyway, cool. So I was an intern last summer. Now I've been here almost a year, and I'm working on this awesome movie called Wildwoods. So yeah, that's me. Okay, done talking about me. That's not interesting. Let's get into what we're talking about. We're really here. Okay, so little disclaimer. I'm like kind of a blunt person. I've been told I'm kind of a blunt person. But honestly, it's just like I respect you guys. I think you guys should get as much information as possible. So I'm gonna offer you as much information as I possibly can. Just need an open mind from you guys to sort of understand that my goal here is to try to get you to think a little bit different about how you approach this whole job thing. So we're gonna do our best. And second thing, these are all my opinions. If something sounds crazy, just forget about it. Like, doesn't matter. You know, take what feels right, leave what doesn't. Doesn't matter. What I'm saying doesn't need to be your truth. Just leave it. Cool. All right, let's get into it. So remember way back before when I was like, oh, like I was gonna go to school for biology. So I'm a very type A, is that right? Type A? I don't know. Like methodical person. That's how I think about things. I like to break things down, make them really simple, straightforward. So that's a lot of what this is gonna be. Dissecting job application and just thinking like, okay, how do we actually do this? Like what is the way to do this? So parts of the job application. So we got job requirements, because the job really starts the application really starts there when you actually sit down and understand what is this job and why am I applying to. Next thing would be obviously portfolio demo reel, important, but we're not going to talk about that. Resume, cover letters sometimes, interviewing, and the extra step of networking, which is really, really important. Probably more important than all the other things combined. So yeah, we're going to talk about these things today. Cool? Cool. Awesome. Okay. So one thing, I want us to reframe the way we think about each of these bits of the application process. I want us to think about all of these parts as different opportunities to show recruiters, hiring managers, whatever, why we are perfect for this role. That is what I want us to think about these things as, all these little bits. So Job description, reading it, understanding it, applying to jobs that you are actually qualified for, and not just applying to something because it says animation. That is showing that you have an attention to detail. Resumes is an opportunity to show that you are a reliable worker. They should trust you to do the work. Cover letters, that is an opportunity to tell your story. Who are you? What makes you you? Because that is really, really important. Because when you are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week with people, you want to know that it is a person who you're not going to like hate your life if you have to talk to them all the time. You want to work with good people. So they want to know who you are. Interviews, another opportunity, showing your personality. And networking, opportunity to gain solidarity and camaraderie with other artists, because sometimes this industry is super freaking rough and you need other people. Like, you seriously do. Okay. So we're gonna get into it. All right, starting with job descriptions. So like I said, it's an opportunity to show that you have attention to detail. So a job goes both ways. Like, it's not just about you fitting into the space. It's not just about the job, you fitting into the job. It's also about the job fitting you. So why do you want this job in particular? I think it is way, way more beneficial to have 40 really great applications where you feel like you definitely belong there in that role at that place than to have like 100 half-assed applications to anything just because it says animation. Quality over quantity every single time. Every single time. And, you know, as I was making this little presentation, one of my favorite people, she's very cool. She's a recruiter at Blizzard, and she posted this like 2 days ago on LinkedIn. She was talking about how people do that, where they apply to jobs that they're just like not qualified for. And it's like, it shows that you're not paying attention and you don't want to do that. So like before anything, before you even start applying, ask yourself like, why am I applying? Take a sip of my tea. Okay. So what are your reasons for applying? If it is a place where you truly feel like you have a real, like, this is why I'm doing this, because this is a place where I belong, the odds are in your favor if this is a place where you truly belong. If you just apply to everywhere because it's there, you're probably going to get a lot of rejections because we don't belong everywhere. Every place is not for us. Every place is not the place where we're going to flourish. So be intentional when you apply to places and know what you're doing. You got to really think about it. You got to really, really think about it. So like I said, very methodical person. So these are just like a couple examples of like reasons why you might apply somewhere. So like, let's just say that you want to grow, and this is a position where training and mentorship is involved, and I've seen the work of the people who will be training me, and I aspire to create like that. That is a reason to apply. It's got an I want this, and the role gives me this. That's what you want. You want, I need this, I value this, the role will give me that. That's how you start to sort of decide, like, what is my real reason for going after this? Here's another example. I value strong deadlines and high stress scenarios because I believe it makes me better artists. Some people love that. Not me. I do not like stress. I like to be cozy, but some people love that. And this is a place that has shown me in the past that they do that. This is how you want to break it down when you're thinking about, why am I doing this? Another example. This company could benefit from approaching their work in a new way, and I can offer new perspectives. Really specific reasons about why you're going after this thing. I want this, company wants that. I value this, company provides that. Very, very straightforward, but that's how you want to start thinking about it. You will have a much easier time landing a job that fits you well if you know why you're doing what you're doing. Being intentional is always going to give you more successful outcomes. So try to do that. Cool. So who's on the other side of these job things? Recruiters. That's who's looking at all this stuff. The recruiter's job is to find a person who fits the job and the company. Very important. Job, company. That is what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody who can fit that in particular. They're really, really good at that. They're really, really good at doing that. That's why they have the job. They're very talented. So like, let them do their thing. But in order to give yourself the best shot at it, you need to give them as much useful information about yourself so that they can decide if you fit. So your goal is to give them just shoot them with a bunch of information about like, this is me, this is what I do, this is it. That's the goal. I forgot what my next task was. Oh, sorry, my next slide was. Sorry. Okay. So how do you show them that you fit into the job and the company? Remember, those are the two important things, job, company. How do you show them? So really, really obvious, but I want to make sure everyone's on the exact same page as me right now, okay? Job. A job is completing your tasks well, on time, and reliably. Do you love my awesome emojis? They're great. So that is how we're going to define a job. Company, we're going to define as a constantly changing, emphasis on constantly changing, group of people trying to reach a goal together. So how do you show them that you are going to be able to do both these things and you belong in that job, at that company? So you show them you can complete tasks well, on time, and reliably through your resume. You say, I've done it before, so I can do it in the future. You can also get people to vouch for you. That's where a network comes in. People who are like, yeah, you can trust this person because I've trusted them in the past. How do you show them that you fit into the company? Cover letter. Who are you as a person? Does your personality fit the culture of that company? Another way you can do that is through interviews if you get to that point. Interview, great way to show them like, yeah, you definitely want to sit next to me every day and eat lunch with me every day and talk to me every single freaking day. Like that's really what it is. Cool. Yes, makes sense. Is that all clear? Does that all make sense? We good? Cool. Awesome. Okay. Now we're going to get into it. So we're going to start with resumes. So then remember, this is an opportunity to show them that you are a reliable worker. So a stranger, basically, because they're all strangers. They don't know who you are. They have no clue who you are. They've never met you. They don't know you. So this stranger needs to trust that that you can do what you say you're going to do because you're showing them that in the past you've done that. That's the hope with the resume. You say, look at all these things I've done. So now believe that I'm going to do what you tell me to do, right? Because this is capitalism. That's what a job is, unfortunately. But that's a whole other conversation. So anyway, yes. So you want to show them that you can do the job well, you can do the tasks, I should say, well, on time, and reliably, right? So how do I show them that I can do my tasks well? You want your resume to be full of results-oriented data and growth-oriented data. So that is results-oriented data. How did your tasks improve the team? Or how did your tasks help you reach X goal? Do not just tell me what you did at your job. If your resume just says your job description, wrong, erase it, delete it. No. Tell me what you did and how that helped you reach the goal of the team. Growth-oriented data. How did the thing that you did, how did you help grow your skills? How did you like collaborate with other team members to like people who have more experience than you to learn new things, right? Growth, so your personal growth-oriented data. That's how they're going to believe that you can do the tasks well because you show them in the past that you have results and you're trying to grow, right? Cool. How do I show them I can do things on time? Time-based data. How long did it take you to do such and such thing? And how does that compare to the expectations of the role? Did you meet the quotas? Did you implement processes for efficiency? Things like that, time-based data, that's what you want. And how do you show them that you're reliable? Recommendations. A lot of people put recommendations on their resume, or sometimes there are like parts of the application where you can add like, who told you about this role or whatever. You can ask people to give you verbal recommendations if they already work at the studio, but that's sort of how you get that reliability part. In addition to having a network, but we'll get into that later. So we're gonna see this little example that I made for somebody who is a junior CG lighter at LAIKA Studios. So here's a bad example at the top. of what you don't want to do. It's a very extreme bad example, right? So this lighter says that what they do, they add lights to a scene to make it look pretty. They send passive aggressive messages to look dev artists when their publishers break my scene constantly. And they cry to the TD when their shots hit a memory error. These are the things we don't want to do, right? So how do we fix these? And how do we fix these with those previous things in mind? Results, growth, and time-based data. Right. On whatever it was. I forgot what my things were. Well, on time, reliable. All right. So we're going to structure this to say this instead. We assist in shot lighting through realization of production artwork to meet shot targets. That is results oriented. Collaborate with neighboring departments, growth oriented, because we're learning from artists who have more experience than us to create cohesive imagery, results oriented. Expanding knowledge of Python and C programming languages to better troubleshoot, blah, 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 whatever. Growth oriented, personal growth. Optimize the process, time-based, and also results oriented. It's a little bit of both. And then additionally, helping CG asset, blah, 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 to meet asset quotas, time-based, results-based, all these things. Quotas, that's a time-based thing. Do we see, does that make sense? Yeah, this is my resume, by the way, if you couldn't guess that. Yeah, cool. All right, cover letters. I love cover letters. A lot of people hate cover letters, but I love them. Look, your job and your goal when it comes to a cover letter is to tell the studio who you are so that the very qualified and talented recruiter can do all their magical recruiting things and decide if you belong there in that role and with that job, right? So like, oh, sorry, this is my tangent. God, this is so weird. Anyway, sorry, tangent. I'm gonna go into a little bitty tangent. So a lot of people have this idea of like dream studio and like, I really want to work at this place and that place and blah, 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 and all this, right? So I have never been a person to really believe in like saying that or shooting for that or anything like that, because like I said before, we're defining company as a constantly changing group of people trying to reach a goal. I have no idea if I want to be at a studio because I don't know the people that make up that studio. So I don't know if I want to be there. I have no freaking clue because I don't know the people. And those people are going to change 10 years, 20 years. It's going to be a totally new group. So I have no idea. Maybe I have a dream like project or a dream like group of people, dream team. Definitely have that, but never a dream studio. It doesn't matter where you work. It matters who you work with. Very much. It matters who you work with. Because good Lord, there are some people. That's another thing. Be nice to your classmates because these are the people you're going to work with. And anyway, we'll get into that. But yeah, be nice to people, please. And be real with people. Like, anyway, sorry, tangent. Okay, let's go back to cover letters. Okay, what is your job with a cover letter? Do not tell me your resume. Do not rehash your resume, but expand it. Don't do that. Your resume is your resume. Your cover letter is your cover letter. Do not tell me what you did. And you already did that. So a lot of people hate the cover letter. They're like, why is it there? It's outdated, whatever. But like, in my opinion, like I said, reframing all these things to be opportunities to show recruiting why you belong there. So why would you not take another opportunity to do that, right? I'm always going to take those opportunities. My notes. Right, opportunities. So like when I was applying to Pixar, when I was interviewing, it was a panel interview. It was 9 people asking me questions. And 3 different people asked me specific questions about things that were on my cover letter and asked me to expand upon them. So ever since then, like I've always been like write the cover letter, just do it. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to make your application worse to be like, look, I'm a really cool, fun person. You want to work with me. Like, why would that be worse? That's not a bad thing. Anyway, okay. So like, I convinced you that you should write it. But like, how do I write it? Right? That's cool. So like, there's no wrong way to do it because the goal with the cover letter is just to tell your story. Like, just tell them who you are. You can do that however you want. There's no wrong way to do it. It's your story. It's your truth. You do what you got to do. But like generally, very general rule of thumb and kind of how I like to approach it, but definitely there are a million ways to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. But I like to start with sort of who I am, what is important to me, what has gotten me to the place that I'm at, how am I as an artist, what am I really good at, blah, 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 all these things. All about you personally. Who are you personally as an artist or just as a person in general? You know, like for me, damn it, I lost my spot on my notes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, like, basically, what are like the innate traits of you that, like, no matter where you were working or what job you were doing, those traits would always come out? Those are the things you want to go after. So, like, for me, I'm kind of a talker and I'm really curious about things. I like to know what's going on. I like to get to the bottom of things. That will happen to me no matter what job I'm at. Those are the things that are like innately me. That's what you want to know. That's what you want to write about. And then you kind of want to elaborate on what you think this role is and this company is and why those things fit those innate parts of you. Like, why am I the person that you want to be there? You might maybe expand upon a couple little things in your resume, but they should be with purpose. The thesis of your cover letter is, damn it, my notes. Where is, sorry, guys. Okay, I lost myself, but like I said, you're trying to tie you to the company. So every single sentence in that cover letter should support that idea. I am this, company wants this. The company has this, I want that. Like that's it. Every single sentence should. Don't just write a sentence that's like, I went to UCF. Okay. What? Keep going. Another layer. If you write a question, if you write a sentence that doesn't seem to support that, ask yourself why you wrote that. And then the answer to that might be the real sentence that you should write. And then if that isn't, ask why again. Keep asking why until you get to something that's actually personal to you. I shouldn't be able to put somebody else's name on your cover letter and it makes sense. Shouldn't be able to do that. Cool. Oh, here's where I wrote the thesis though. I knew I wrote that somewhere. Like I said, this is what I just said, but connecting who you are to why you might do well at the company, job, whatever. Every sentence should support that idea. If it doesn't, get rid of it. Not useful. Cool. Make sense? Still with me? Yeah? Cool. All right. Interviews. Interviews are kind of freaky. Like a lot. They're really freaky. It's an opportunity to show who you are, which is really cool. Love that. Like that is a really rare opportunity to be able to like show your personality and meet people who are doing what you want to do. That's a super cool opportunity. So if you get to that point, first be like, oh my God, like pat on the back, this is amazing because it's really, really great opportunity. So generally there's a lot with interviews. Interviews are like this whole like psychology mess, whatever. But generally when I'm in an interview, I'm trying to do two things, right? So I'm trying to show them my personality. And I'm trying to show them my brain working under pressure. So like, if you can't tell, I'm kind of a very expressive speaker. When I talk to people, I'm very, whatever. So like I like to show that. And this is kind of my opportunity to show that. But you also don't need to be like this crazy, like extrovert, quirky mess, whatever. You don't need to do that. If you're like quieter, more introverted, like that is also super, super valuable because like you can show them that you're a great listener and that you're really intentional with the words that you use and you're great on a team because you understand your teammates and you listen, like all great qualities. You do not need to be an extrovert to be good at interviews at all. Like introverts, you guys are like, oh my God. Anyway, other tangent, but yes. And it's also showing your brain working under pressure. Because sometimes we all get a little nervous when we talk to people. I definitely do. I definitely am right now. Anyway. But yeah, we all get a little nervous. And so they kind of just want to see like how do you work under pressure? Because animation is there's a lot of pressure in animation. There are deadlines and you gotta meet them. So yeah. So that's basically what they're trying to see. Like, do you ramble? Do you like fumble through your words? Do you pause, gather your thoughts, then take a shot at it? Do you prepare? Are you concise? Like, how does your brain work? That's what they're trying to find. Yeah, and I think I definitely prepare for interviews by like writing the questions or whatever, and like coming up with answers to them so that like I'm generally prepared with like things to say. But honestly, it doesn't, I mean, it matters what you say in the interview, but it's more about how you say it. And honestly, by the beginning of the first question, like they kind of already know. Like I said, interviews are like a weird psychology thing. They probably already know. They probably know from the beginning. So don't like kill yourself if you're like, oh my God, like I didn't answer that question right. And then I did that. Like they probably don't even remember it. Honestly, I don't even remember my first interview because I blacked out the whole freaking time. I don't remember a single thing that happened, but it got me a job. So I don't know, whatever. So don't worry about it too much. Don't stress yourself out. Like it's not a big deal. Right. So you're like, how do I do this? How do I get better at them? Mock interviews. That's literally how you get better at it. You can prepare as much as you want, but like when you're in the moment, your brain's just gonna be out the window. Like it's not gonna be there. Brain's gonna be gone. So the best way to do it is just do mock interviews as much as you can. Sometimes like career centers at universities will have opportunities for that, like take advantage of that. If not, get some friends and ask them to do it for you. Or a mentor, if you have a mentor in the industry, ask them if they can do it for you. But it's super beneficial because like the only way I got good at interviews was by doing like 1,000 interviews. And then like eventually I'm like, oh, I kind of get this. Like it's kind of fun. But you gotta get through them to really get good at them. So do the mock interviews for sure. A lot of times I'll like write up questions for the mock interview person to use, and then like they can like use those, but then also they can like throw in random stuff. So just kind of see like how I work under pressure and all that, try to make it as close as possible as like a real interview because it's really, really important. Super important. Anyway, because at that point, like once you've gotten to that point, like they already know you can do the job. If you're at the interview point, they already know like you can do the work. They're past that. Now they're just like, oh, does your personality mesh with us? Do we want to be around you all the time? And so like, does your personality fit the company, fit the culture here? Because companies have different cultures. Anyway, so then after that, you just follow up and you wait. Follow up with a nice little email. Say, thank you for the interview. It was great to meet you. Blah blah blah. And then you just wait. It's been out of your hands the whole time. This has never been. You've never had it. You can't do anything. All you can do is take all the opportunities, give them all the useful information. But at this point, it's like seriously out of your hands. Just wait. Worrying is not going to make anything go faster. Recruiters are incredibly busy. They're very busy. Like, just let them do their thing. They'll get back to you. And if they ghost you, then screw them. That's a fucked up thing to do. If that happens, forget that company. I swear to God. Like, they should not be doing that. That is bullshit. Sorry. But anyway. Yeah. Cool. Okay, the last thing is networking, which I love. This is like this is like a constant thing. Networking is not this is not like an order of things to do and like this, you should do them in this order. You should do networking all the time. Networking is super fun. And you guys are in these like little animation group things. Like, they're fun. You should do it. Super fun. It's an opportunity to just like meet other artists and like make friends. And I think that's super cool. And then you get really cool opportunities. Like, anyway, sorry. Let me figure out where I was going with that. Oh, talking to people is hard. True, we all know that. Talking to people is hard, especially when we're all introverts. A lot of artists are introverts. That's just how it is. And talking to people is hard. The way that I do it, I really only like network with people where I just like kind of just want to be their friend. Like I would talk to them anyway, even if we weren't in animation, like I'd probably just want to like be their friend anyway. I mean, it's like more of a professional manner, but like that's kind of how I go about it. You don't need to be extroverted to like be good at networking. Like my advice for introverted people who are trying to network, plan really, really short like lunch Zoom calls. Be like, hey, you want to chat for like 15 minutes, but then I have to go. Like do that and have like a million questions prepared and like there will be no lulls in the conversation. Like you'll just do your thing. You'll be like, oh, 15 minutes, gotta go. But like, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Also, if somebody doesn't respond to you when you're trying to network with them, like they don't hate you. They're busy, and like it takes a lot of mental energy to like think about work stuff and industry stuff outside of work. It's like we're working 40 hours a week, sometimes more. Like sometimes you just want to go home and like watch The Bachelor and like not think about film. Like that's what I do. I like I do not want to do this all the time. So like if somebody doesn't respond to you, then they're probably just taking a break, which is really healthy. And like not thinking about work for a second. Super healthy. Don't make them a villain just because they didn't like they're just being healthy and not respond. Like that's okay. Just talk to somebody else. Like it's okay. But yeah, how do you do it? It's pretty straightforward, but being active on LinkedIn, reaching out to people who interest you, talk to people about their journeys and their careers, set up Zoom calls. Don't just message people. Talk to people on Zoom. That's like how you really build the network. Really know who people are. Get their personality. Get their emails if you can. So that way you have like a real like personal connection to them and check in. Don't just talk to somebody once and be like, cool, my network is so big now. Like, no, you need to talk, like you're talking to people. They're your friends. You want to check in on them. You want to see what's up. So yeah. But I think networking is super important. Like I probably wouldn't have gotten any of the opportunities I got without networking. Actually, not even probably. I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't because I know exactly how it happened, and it happened because I networked. That's like how like I had a network. I built a network. Even me being here right now, this is a result of networking. This is an opportunity that comes from networking. Like I was in WIA and I knew this person and that person's dating that person and then they are friends with you. And so that's why I'm here. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, network. Okay, cool. So now for like the last couple of things where I couldn't really think of how to fit them in, but I think they're important. These are the last bits. So then we'll do a Q&A. You're not, these are like kind of a downer and I'm sorry, but they're like a little bit of a downer. I'm trying. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so like this industry is not stable. It has like really big ups and really big downs. That's how it is. Like you will feel a lot more comfortable when you sort of just come to the terms with the fact that this is not a stable industry. This is not an industry of stability. If that's what you're looking for, this is maybe not the best place. It's really hard to find that. Most jobs are contract based. You're like working for a year and maybe your contract gets renewed, like you're freelancing or like it's really hard to just be like a project staff like role at a studio. That's super it's not super common. Anyway. Um right. What I was gonna say is don't let anyone like convince you that like if you're not working in animation yet, that you're like suddenly not like an artist or like not valid or whatever. Like you were always an artist because you are you. Like that, you're an artist always. If just because you're working in animation doesn't mean you're automatically set. Just because you're not working in animation doesn't mean you're doomed like forever. This shit is not easy. Paying rent, paying bills, paying for loans, like oh, it's so expensive. Life is expensive. People are getting laid off all the time. The industry is going through the growing pains of like streaming and pandemic and and strikes and all these things, right? It's real. So, and companies like the executives, they don't see us as people. Honestly, they see us as just like these things that make them money. And if they're not making the money, they're going to get rid of us and that's why there's so many layoffs. That's why all these companies are doing that. So like do what you need to do to pay your bills and don't let anyone tell you that that doesn't make you an artist. Like I don't care where you're working. You are an artist because you are an artist. So do your thing, pay your bills, be nice to people, etc. Yes. Last thing, just last couple little things. The work that we do is super fun, but you will get burnout. You will get frustrated. You're going to be annoyed by your coworkers. You're going to hate the project you're working on. Like you're going to have painful 70-hour overtime weeks. Like it's going to happen. And I think when we're students, like sometimes our passion for the art is what's fueling our work ethic to like pull those all-nighters that I know you guys do. I don't do it, but I know some of y'all be doing that. So, and I think once you start working, it is worth it to sort of monitor your passion and let yourself balance a little bit. You should give work as much as work is giving you. You should work the time that you are compensated for. You should not do things that, well, you do what you do. But anyway, give 100% of whatever energy you have left. I am not a person who believes in any of that, like 120% bullshit. Like, you work 120% and you will make it. Like, no, wrong. That is bullshit. Give what you got. Give the energy that you got. Take care of yourself. I'm not going to glorify the grind. That is BS. Like, happiness and health over work all the time, every single freaking day. And I do that because I respect myself. This is all about respect. Respect myself, I respect my mental health, so I'm going to do that. But obviously, I'm going to put time into work, right? It's like, duh, like, it's a job. I've made a commitment to this job. But they're only getting as much energy as I have left. And the only reason that I'm giving that energy is not really out of respect for like the company or like capitalism or like whatever. Like, that's not where it's coming from. For me, it's all about respecting my team. I put in the energy because I respect the guys I work with. And I say guys because literally my whole team is men. Gotta change that, right? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like that is where it comes from. It's all about respect. I respect them, so I'm gonna give them as much energy as I can. But like if I'm feeling zero, sick day. Yesterday, my lead wasn't in. He took a sick day because he was feeling zero. Yesterday he was like 0%. 0% today, I can't give you guys anything. I'm gonna take a day to rest. That is so important. That is a great skill. If you have the self-awareness to be like, nope, can't do it today. I'm gonna take a day out. That is crazy. That is awesome. It's a great thing to do. You are just one person, small part of a really big company that, yeah, be adequate. Be adequate. Do your thing. Like, the only reason that like, if you're feeling mentally up to it, put in a little bit more energy, maybe go beyond here and there. Sometimes I do that because I want to get promoted so that I can afford Korean barbecue. But that's like the only reason. Like, I'm just doing it because you know what I mean? Like, it's not about the job. It's about whatever, right? So don't do more than you're compensated for. Like, just do your thing. And if that doesn't convince you, like, for at least respecting yourself, do it out of respect for others, because every single time that you set the precedent that you're going to do more work than you're paid for, then suddenly companies think that we all should do that. And then now other people are going to be victim to that because you decide, you know what I mean? Anyway, just do it out of respect for others. And just to end on a little happy note, when I started working at LAIKA, this was a little thing that was on my desk. I have no idea who wrote it or who left it there, but I always like leave it there because I think it's really nice because it's so true. Because like, it's just a nice little like pick me up when I'm feeling really sad about capitalism. It's a really nice pick me up of like, hey, 5 years ago, I would have had no idea that I was going to be working on movies, but that's like pretty cool. And I really like doing it. And I really like the people I do it with. And yeah, that was such a bad ending, but that's the end. So cool. Thanks. Questions? Oh my God. Where's the, God, I can't see anybody. I hope that was helpful. No questions. No, give me, please, questions. Please ask something. I hope that was helpful. I don't know. Because sometimes I just be rambling and people just be staring at me like, what the hell are you going on about? And I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like, I hope that was helpful.
I see Jasmine has a question. You can unmute yourself if you need to.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question. If you were to give your younger self advice in the beginning of your career, what would that be?
So I dropped out of animation my junior year, right? I would not have given myself the advice to do that earlier, but I think I would have told myself to just like do things that aren't animation like a little bit more. Like join a club, like, I don't know, play volleyball, like, I don't, just things, just do things that
I have
like,
time for that.
Yeah, so that's something I totally like didn't even talk about in here, but that's something I like talk about a lot is like time management. So like for me, like I said, like I've never been one to do those whole like all-nighter things because my thing has always been like if it is 10 p.m. because I have a little early bedtime because I'm sleepy, but if it is 10 p.m. and my work isn't done, then I'm getting a C. Like I do not care. I will get my sleep. I care about my health more than I care about the work. Always, always and forever. So like the time thing for me is like I sacrifice some things to have more time for other things. Like I'll sacrifice a project if it means that I get to like do something with a club and like because I was a president of like certain clubs and stuff and it's like I will sacrifice work if it means that I get to like grow my leadership skills and like meet new people and help foster this like community of whatever for my club, like totally 100%. Now it's a lot easier because it's like 40 hours a week. It's like 6 p.m. I'm done. Don't ask me to do anything after 6 p.m. because I won't do it unless you pay me for it. Then I'll do it. But yeah, it's a little bit easier. I see the question about work environment and work-life balance. It's a lot different because you don't like you leave and it's done like 6 p.m. and you're done. So unless you have overtime, but that's for crunch, which we're not in crunch right now, so that's for later. But yeah, it's a lot easier. I think you kind of have to remind yourself. Like I always, when I hang out with my friends, like after work and stuff, like if somebody starts talking about work, we're like, nope, save it for Monday. It's not for Saturday night. Like Saturday night that's not what this is for. So yeah. Cool. Okay. Questions. Oh, there are lots of questions.
I guess I noticed like 3 of them kind of went up at the same time. So
yeah,
pick.
You pick. You're the mom. You
Sure.
can pick. I'll
Sure.
yeah.
Let's go with Alondra first.
Hello, can you
Hi.
hear me good?
Sure can.
Okay, I have like just 2 quick questions. One of them is about networking.
Okay.
How do you tackle like networking with people that you also just generally want to be friends with? Because when I try to make friends with other animators, it feels as like I don't know if others experience this, but it's like you feel kind of guilty because it's like sometimes you feel as though you're only talking with them for the benefit of the network, but you really just want to be friends.
Well, see, my thing with it is like, so I usually reach out to people on LinkedIn because there's sort of like what do you call it? It's kind of like an unspoken understanding that it's a professional connection. So I'll reach out to people on LinkedIn, but fully just like, hey, like, tell me about your experience. Like, how'd you get in the industry? Like, what is it like? Blah, 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 blah. It's so-and-so studio. Like, how's the food at Nickelodeon? That's what I always ask people how the food is at their studios because that's what I want to know. How's the free food? But sorry, tangent. Oh shoot, I lost the question. Right. Oh, sorry, just got it. Sorry. Yes. So like my thing is like intention always. I'm all about intention. Like if I know my intention going into this is like to make a friend and also to grow a network, I'm not gonna feel guilty about that. Like that's the goal. And that's also their goal. We're all trying to do that. I wouldn't feel guilty about it. Like we're all trying to do that. We're all trying to make friends and build a connection. Like that's what LinkedIn is for. LinkedIn is for connections. So, I think it's just like we get in our head, like we think we're bothering people and all these things like that. But like, you're be truthful about what your intentions are, Like if that's what you're trying to do, tell the person. That's what I do. I'm like, hey, I'd love to know about DreamWorks, and also like I'm super interested in DreamWorks. So like let's stay connected. Let's build a connection. Like, and in the future, you get a job, I get a job, we all get jobs, and we're all happy. Like, no problems there. It's all positive. Like you're not being like shady by like trying to like get a job. Like we're all trying to do that. It's totally normal. Yeah. But I feel you. It sometimes feels like it. I get you with the guilt. I definitely felt that early on. But I think over time, as you build your network, you're just kind of like, oh, I'm not being shady. I'm just making friends. Like it's chill. So yeah, I don't know if that's helpful.
That's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Savannah. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm doing the mod job.
No, it's okay. I was actually gonna call Savannah next, so
Cool.
you
Okay,
got it.
Go for it.
Hi there. First of all,
Hello.
it's nice to meet you, and thank you so much for seeing everyone today. This is really awesome.
Yeah, no
Um,
worries.
so I kind of have like a two-parter question for you as well.
Cool.
So my first being like, now that you're now that you are in like the industry, is it what you imagined it to be? And if not, like, what are some of the things you have discovered about it?
That's a good question. I think the like biggest thing. This was something I was talking to my like production supervisor about the other day because I was telling him like I was doing this thing and he was talking to me about how like a lot of times like students don't realize that like it's a job, which I feel like after like this talk, like I was really hammering the fact that like it's a job, like you're just doing tasks, like you're just doing your thing, because it like seriously is just a job. And I think that's what changed for me. You know, it's like I'm like I work at LAIKA, and everybody's like, oh my God, Coraline, and I'm like, yes, technically yes, but also like it's not the project I'm working on. I never worked on it. Like some people have never even seen it. Some people I work with have never seen it. Like it's not, it's just a job. You're just doing the work. And I think that's the thing that like changed for me. It's like just sort of realizing like I just come in, click my little buttons, click render, and I head out. Like that's it. And I think I'm like, it takes a lot of the stress out because you're just sort of like, we're all just doing our thing. Also, another answer to that is I have learned that everyone is insane. Not in like a bad way, but like I work with like 50-year-old like guys, and I somehow like we're all still just like relating to each other, and we're all like a bunch of film nerds and just geeks in general. And like I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, like this guy worked on Jurassic Park or whatever. That's like it's like my favorite movie. And it's like, but he's just like my bud now. And he's just like a guy, but he's also like my dad's age. Like it's weird. But that was the thing I wasn't really expecting. But like, yeah, I don't know if that answers
That's
that.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Mackenzie. Sorry, I'm taking your job. Sorry, Vaughn.
Go for it. Go for it.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a few questions. One of them is, how do you go about networking when you're very introverted? Because I kind of suck at making friends already. And also, how do you ask people to be your mentor? And sorry, last question. How did you know that you wanted to be like a lighting artist? How did you find your specific niche?
Cool. I'll answer this really quick because I want to make sure we get to everybody's questions. But introverts set up really short Zoom calls, really short Zoom calls, and also like text people. Like if you're too worried about like talking to them like one-on-one, just like send them messages on LinkedIn. I think it's beneficial to like set up a Zoom call at some point. Literally just be like, hey, let's do this from 11:15 to 11:30. 11:30, I have a meeting, I gotta go. Like really short. That is my advice for that. The second question was, remind me.
Oh, sorry. How do you go about asking people to be your mentor if you find them?
True, right, okay. So I have like a handful, like a lot. Some of them are like more organized. Like I was in Women in Animation and got a mentor. Like that's like one way of doing it. I did like Rise Up Animation and got assigned a mentor. Like that's one way of doing it. Another way is just sort of like sometimes I don't like fully like ask people. I kind of just like ask them for advice over and over and over and over. And then I'm just like, oh, you're my mentor. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you don't like quite do it in like an organized way. But I think like there's two ways. Like if you can do the organized method, there's a ton of things out there. I mean, there's Black in animated, there's Rise Up Animation, there's Asians in animation, there's Women in Animation. They're like, oh, that could go on and on and on. There's a million things out there. And they all have these sort of like mentorship programs. I think that's a good way to start. It's just applying to those, especially Rise Up. Rise Up is cool. Yeah. Oh, and another thing I did is taking online classes. So I took a class through Animation Mentor, and also a class through CG in May. And that was a good way to find people too. Yeah. I think your last question was, how did I decide lighting? I was a freshman and I took a class. We had to do model, texture, and light stuff, and I was doing it. And I was like, damn, this is kind of fun. And then my teacher was like, you're kind of good at it. And I was like, really? And then the career person was like, you're kind of good at it. And I was like, that's awesome because I love it. And that's what happened. So that's kind of a bad answer, but I really love lighting. I just love like making images look really pretty and like setting the mood, and I love cinematography, and I'm also a huge film nerd, like huge film nerd. But yeah,
Okay.
anyway,
Thank you so
thanks.
much. Thank
Thanks
you.
for your questions. Daniela,
All right. Hi. Nice to meet
hello.
you. I'm gonna try to be quick as I know we're running out of time.
Go for it.
So my question is basically just about internships. I mean, I'm just starting building my first portfolio to start applying. So do you have any like quick advice you could give me? I don't know.
Let's see. First internships. I think starting networking early. I was networking my freshman year, and I think that's super beneficial. It was like first thing I did. Like I was talking to people in the industry. I was annoying. I was like, "Hello, you want to talk to me?" And they were like, "No," and I was like, "Okay, thanks."
Oh my
And
God. How do you
all
deal
the
with that?
Oh, this is so funny. I was talking about this yesterday. I like exposure therapy, my rejection sensitivity to help like I literally choose to do things that I know I will get rejected from because I know it'll get me used to it. Like I'll say stuff to people where I know they're gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm just like,
Right.
"Sorry, guys."
Yeah, you gotta put yourself out there, right?
Right, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I do that a lot. I think that helps like just
Mhm.
sort of putting yourself in the situations, like social situations. Like I'd be in the grocery store, I'd be like, "Hello." And they're like, "Please don't talk to me." I'm like, "Thanks,
Oh, that's
sorry."
awesome. No, yeah, you seem like a very extroverted person. No, it's great.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit of an
Yeah,
extrovert. But yeah,
yeah.
so I think that yeah, it's totally you kind of just deal with it because you just have it. Because I've also been rejected from like so many jobs. Like I've been
Right.
rejected so many times. I've been ghosted by companies. I've been so rejected, like so much.
Right.
So like it happens. Totally normal.
Yeah.
I forgot what your original question was, but did I answer?
Oh, last question. Okay, last question relating to that. How would you like approach a person on LinkedIn that you really admire? I don't know, just to talk to them. How would you do
I would
that?
say exactly that. Hey, I really admire you and I'd love to talk to you.
Oh my
You know what I
God, that's
mean? Like,
awesome.
like,
Okay.
like
Okay,
super
yeah.
straightforward. I don't know. Yeah, I think you like nobody's gonna be if somebody is like turned away by like your passion for something or your admiration, then
Hmm.
they might just be an asshole and you might not want to talk to them anyway. Because like if somebody comes to you super excited and is like, "Hey, I think you're awesome," and their response is like, "Okay, bye," like that's an asshole thing to do. So who wants to talk to assholes? Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I think just totally like, be upfront, be yourself, be excited. Like everybody loves passion. That's something my coworker was saying the other day. He was like, passion will always outrank your work ethic. If you're passionate about whatever, just about life, art, film, whatever, they will
Right.
that's always gonna do it.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you. All right, you
Oh,
have one last question, so I think I'm gonna go. But
okay.
would you like giving your if you have one, like maybe your art Instagram account? If
Oh
you're open
god,
to
my
that, I
my
feel like
art
that'd be cool.
my art is trash, but yeah, I'll drop I'll drop all the stuff.
No, I would love to
Um
see it. I would love to see it.
you guys can also connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Dallas. Right? I'll put all of this stuff here.
Sure.
The first thing was Instagram. That's that, and y'all can connect with me there. And also, I'll just give you guys my email. Like, y'all can email me. Okay, cool.
All right, thank you so
Alana,
much.
thank you. Alana, want to get to your question?
Hi, did you call my name?
I sure did.
Okay, thank you. So I'm wondering now that you have an internship and are working, do you ever do art for yourself? Or how often do you do that?
It's a good question. So, like, I've actually because I started art late. I don't know who was here at the beginning and now whatever, but like in my story, I was kind of talking about I started art late. I like started when I was like a junior in high school, basically sophomore kind of. So like it's never really been something that's like I just like I love art so much, like I want to do it all the time. So like for me in my free time, like I don't really do a whole lot, but that's just because that's who I am. I was sorry. I was looking at this. I was like, why am I getting so many LinkedIn responses? Sorry. I know I literally just said add me on LinkedIn. I'm like, who are all these people? Sorry. Um, yeah, so I don't really do a whole lot. Honestly, now what I do is I like to collaborate with my friends. Because I don't really if I do a project by myself, I'm not gonna finish it. I just won't. That's just who I am. But if I do it with a friend, then it's like awesome. Like I love it. It's super fun. So I have like animator friends who will like animate something, and then I'll be like, okay, send me the animation and I'll light it. Or like they'll make a character and I'll be like, okay, I'll light it. You know what I mean? So it's like fun little like small projects. I think that's what makes it easy is by doing like small projects. If you do like big things, you're never gonna finish it. Or at least I won't. Maybe you guys will because you guys are better than me, but I would never finish like a big project. So yeah, I don't really do a whole lot of personal work. I'm more about like quality over quantity, like with everything. So like I'm not gonna spend my time like doing like a million things. Like I'm probably just gonna like try to do one thing and make it really good. So, but also I take forever. I'm so slow, so slow. So I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah.
No, that was good. Thank you.
Cool, thanks. Okay, I see that it's 4:17. Should am I supposed to be somewhere else right now?
So now we should move over to the portfolio review
Okay.
like room, but I see that the first person you have is scheduled for 7:30, so we do have a
Oh.
couple of minutes.
Cool. Well, if you guys have more questions, I'll answer them. Actually, let me look through the chat because I think there was some there that I missed. Oh. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to read. I'm a really slow reader. Thank you. Quick question. For your first job after graduating, was the company understanding that you just graduated, or like, oh, that's a good question. So this question's about like, did the company understand that I had just graduated, or did they expect to just like throw me into everything? Well, that's really interesting because when I was an intern at LAIKA, like I talked to the recruiter and then I got to talk to my like current team lead. So like the lead lighter, Joe, he's the best. Love Joe. And I kind of just like talked it. I like just sort of asked him, I was like, Joe, do you like expect me to work on shots like immediately, or are you gonna like train me, or like what's the vibe? And he was like, oh, we'll train you for a couple weeks or however long you want, and then we'll throw you into shots when you're ready. So like that's how it was with Joe. But like it's different. It's different in every place. Typically for an internship, nobody's gonna expect you to just like show up and like do the work. But also like when you're doing CG stuff, you're probably never gonna be expected to just show up and do the work, because when you get there, they're gonna be like, here's all our proprietary like software that you've never seen before. Like they're gonna teach you how to use it. And they'll be like, here's like ShotGrid, which nobody knows how to use ShotGrid. So here's ShotGrid. So like you're not going to be thrown into it immediately. So you definitely have time to adjust. And like that's the thing. It's like once they hire you, girl, like they already picked you. At that point, if they're trying to show you, like give you stuff and you're like, I can't do this, be like, yo, I cannot do this. Somebody teach me how to do this. Like, don't expect me to do. I need somebody teach me, because they already picked you. So, do your thing. How do you handle rejection? Exposure therapy. I think I already said that. Test your creating portfolio. Fine. Did you make a generalist? I did not make a generalist portfolio. I am a lighter, so I made a lighting portfolio. What was your prep for getting the job that you have now? So I applied to, Brick Summit is a thing. It's like an animation summit, and they have portfolio reviews. Actually, I think those like just closed. Their portfolio reviews, they did them like last week. But I applied to those, and the recruiter saw my portfolio and she reached out to me and she was like, hey, do you want to be an intern? And I was like, yes, I want to be an intern. And then, yes, so that's what happened. So there was kind of, honestly, the prep for that was more so, it wasn't, because I actually did not apply to that job. I did not like formally apply to the job. I applied to portfolio reviews, recruiter saw me and said, hey, do you want to be an intern? But a year before that, I had formed a connection on LinkedIn with two of the artists, the lighting artists that work there now, who are now my besties, and I sit next to them every day. But I formed that connection a year ago. So then when the recruiter reached out to me, she went to my lead and was like, hey, lead, what do you think of this person? And he was like, their work is good. And then my lead asked those two artists, like, hey, what do you think of this person? And they were like, oh, I know Dallas. They reached out to me a year ago. They're a really cool person. Connections, networking. That's why it's beneficial. It comes in later. It's not always going to be like an immediate, you're not going to see the results immediately, but the results will be there. Like things, it's worth it. Do it. So like networking, So important. So important. Okay, Nick.
Hi,
Hello.
it's
I haven't
been
seen you.
forever.
I haven't seen you in like 3
I
years.
know.
That's crazy.
I got
Oh
so
my-
excited when I saw your name. I was like,
Oh
hold
my
on,
God.
that's oh my God.
That's crazy. That's so cool. Anyway.
But I had a question about what was it like moving across the country for this job?
That's a great question. So I drove here from Florida, as you saw by my little car.
Yeah.
So it was really fun because I like traveling. I'm a Sagittarius. Anyway, it was really fun because I got to, but they paid for it. That's probably
Uh-huh.
more the answer that I should say to that question. They paid for it. They paid for my gas, and they also gave me money to be like, find an apartment, go. So that helps relocation. If they don't offer you relocation, say no. I was offered a job earlier in my senior year from a company called, should I out them? Oh wait, are we still recording? Let me stop recording.